just about in shot here. What is going on, everyone? Check my mic is on. Welcome back to the channel and a full leg day going down. You can see I'm Jacob's coat of many colours. Purple is the only one I had on offer. I always wear my reds off. I'm very diligent and religious with what I wear. Hopefully you can hear me over the sound, but the atmosphere is what it is. I'm very pale, but looking to get a good old pump on, so I'll go red in a minute to match the t-shirt. So first exercise, we've got leg and hamstring curl. I'll do one set, single leg, get the blood, mind to muscle connection, everything going. I'm gonna do 3 sets, pyramiding up. First one as like a warm up, build up. Second one, a top set, split in the mid to length and range, and then a final set, matching the same weight as the third set, just with more in the, if not all in the length and range. So here we go, get cracking. Important thing here is to really lock in your hips into the pad. You don't want to be like bumping your bum up and moving, shifting your hips every time you go. When you do a single leg, you also want to shift your body onto the side that you're working with, so all weight onto this left leg. As I do this one, 10 reps on each side for this, and we'll move into 12 reps when we get to the bilateral work. Like I said, just really getting that mind to muscle connection, not just kicking your leg up, but dragging your hamstrings, your heels towards your bum. Everyone has that one side that's a little bit weak in the other. Mine's my left, so always start with that one and match on my right. Alright, let's get some weight on. That is that done. Now on to a seated leg curl. Just wanted to clarify one more thing on here. Just want to really press your quads into the hip pad as you pull yourself in. Keep that hips nice stable, like I said, not letting that elevate as you go. I like a narrower stance as well. Again, this eliminates and reduces the implementation and doesn't encourage the hips to take over the movement when you start to struggle. Keep that tension on the hamstrings, get hamstrings. Exercise 2. Here we have exercise 2, like I said, hamstrings again. Do both my hamstrings to start with. Hamstrings are catching up to the quads, so we want that round sweep from the side view, thick from the back, to match the thickness and detail we have and the depth and density we have from the front. So start with both of my hamstring exercises again, single leg for that first set, then another build-up set, and then 2 matched in the profiles again, doing my build-up sets here, the single leg, and then the first build-up set in setting 1, work through that mid-range, and then we'll progressively get into length and range for those final 2 sets as we get heavier. Again, stronger in the length and range, so we want the weight there to match the strength profile as we get into those final sets. I like to lean forward. I'll show you this when we move to the bilateral, but then I'm using this leg here just to brace myself in. Quad pressed into this pad as I go. Really thinking about driving not just down, not just back, but down and back in the arcing motion. 10 again. Really squeeze. Drag the hamstring in. Right. Let's get some weight on. Right, you can see here as I get ready to go, I've got my hips tight, feet close together, and I'm going to lean forward over the pad and just brace. You won't see my hips shaking up and down, using myself, pushing myself, keeping myself compact into the machine so that all tension stays on the hamstrings. quads. Right, exercise 3 of the workout, we've got leg extensions. I usually use the pin loaded, but busy in the gym today, so I'm gonna take it to the plate loaded. Same as with the hamstrings, the first set is going to be single leg, unilateral. Get that mind to muscle connection. These are going to be a godsend for your leg training, for the leg extensions anyway. Similarly to the ham curl, where you want to pull yourself into the machine, this is just going to allow you to stay braced and stop the hips from shifting up. If your hips shift up, that's tension off the quads. Tension off the quads is gains left on the table, and that's something we don't leave on the table, right? So, single leg, like I said, starting with that side that you're weak with or don't connect with as well, and then matching it with your stronger leg. Pulled in, driving up. Think about flexing with the top of your quad, so like here, by your hip. It's easy to flex here. If you can get that connection here in your quad, that's where you're gonna get the most out of this exercise. Little pause in the hole, big stretch to the top. Remember, like I said, drag it up and squeeze at the top. Weight on that side you're lifting with. Right, do the same again with my right leg. And we'll get some weight on here. We'll see what we can do today. I'll probably just try and match it to what I do on the pin loaded. You can probably load this one a bit more, so we'll see where we get. Right, let's get some weight on. Put a clip on it so it doesn't fall off. Right. I'm going to show the legs a little bit in this one, and the sun comes out and ruins my parade. Right. 85 on the top, 35 on the mid, 120 on. Let's do it. Right, let's squat. Right, so exercise 4, the hack squat, the bread and butter, my absolute baby when it comes to gaining big legs. You see, got outfit change here. I like to have the leggings on just for ease and comfort with getting my sleeves on, firstly, and secondly, it's just a superstitious thing. Ever since I started wearing leggings, my leg training went up, my legs started growing. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Whatever the weather, stick on some leggings. Got my sleeves on, got my lifting platform shoes, heel elevated. Just to, what it does, it puts your foot in a state of ankle flexion, just makes it easier to hit that depth. Ankle flexion as well as hip mobility are two big limiting factors when it comes to getting a good squat. And then, yeah, it's a big limiting factor. So if you're wearing these lifting shoes and can get into that depth comfortably through ankle flexion and not have it not be a limiting factor, it's only stands to reason that you're going to be able to squat more effectively, get more out of your movements, and therefore grow. It almost seems stupid not to wear them. Again, case in point, as well as like biomechanically and evidence, my legs have started growing, so obviously not doing any harm. So just one all out set here. We'll just build up. I'm going to do about 6 to 8 reps on my first one, then build up on that, pause, do a single or a double at my last warm up, and then we'll chuck some weight on and see where we're at. Feeling ever so tired today, so we'll see how we're feeling. Just roll out some excuses for when I don't lift as heavy. What you want to do is about thinking all the tension through your midfoot as well. That keeps tension on the quads, arms tucked in like this, just to keep yourself compact, core braced if someone's going to punch you. come down. Don't use the stretch reflex. Nice slight pause at the bottom. Don't just bounce out. Right, now for the primer. I've foregone my primer. Just so I want to hit this now. Gone a bit mute for the last couple of sets. I just wanted to lock in. So let's stay locked in. Let's get a good fucking set here, man. No excuses, no missing. Bollocks. Alright. One down from last week, but can't be too mad at that. Told you I'm absolutely battered today, so we'll have to make up for it on the other exercises. Pendulum's next. No missing. Right, I finished sulking over that set. On the pendulum here, same thing again. I'll do one warm-up set, a couple of like build-up primer sets, and then we'll do one all-out set to failure. I'm probably going to dial back after getting some feedback from hat squat where strength is down a little bit. We'll see how we feel when we warm up, but I may have to strip back on what I was going to do just a tad, just to maintain the quality of the session rather than chasing just the weight of the numbers. So, right, let's do it. I almost forgot. This goes in, just in the back pad here. I'll move the camera in a second to show you like a more holistic view of the set, but it just puts you forward in that hinge. That's where you can really keep full tension on the quads. I like to go a little bit more narrow stance on this compared to like the other squatting pattern, the hat squat or like a barbell squat. Again, keep everything in that midfoot. Pause in the stretch, don't reflex and bounce straight out of with your knees. Keep that lower back pressed firmly against the pad so that you don't encourage your hips and your lower back to take any strain. And there we go. Yeah, Matt's just been a goat for me. Let's get some weight on the bar. One more and go. We'll see. We'll see. Safety first. Beautiful. Alright, let's fucking do this. Going for a 7 now, so I said I wouldn't. So let's get at least 6 here. No way. That was so shit. Thank you. You're getting the full transparency here because, as you can tell, the session just really isn't going to plan today. I'm so mad. But what can you do? It's just a sign that the prep's kicking in. A bit of extra food this week, but it just shows that the recovery is in the bin at the moment because dropped a rep on the hack squat, dropped 2 reps on the pendulum. So it just indicates to me next week I just need to bite the bullet, go a little bit lighter, and just reset that log because that's how it is. But here we have the next exercise 6 of the workout. We've got the squat press, starting with 7 plates here, 725s that is. Just gonna do 4 or 5 reps here, a little touch up on maybe 8 and a half, and then we'll see how it goes because obviously my targets for this session are more or less out of the window now because, like it or not, my body don't want to hit no progressions today. So here we go. Top set going down now. We'll call this one a lesson session. You progress and you take a lesson. It's definitely a lesson session. Just get myself a little bit of grip. Last thing I want today to wrap up a session as gruesome as this is for my grip to go. Right, here we go. New load, should have learned by now, but we'll put a bit more weight on than last week. This is the one where we progress. Just those 2 squatting patterns. Redemption arc is on, bruv. Up 10 kilos, same reps. Heart rate is extremely low. It starts at 99 BPM. Maybe it's just not on tight enough because I'm feeling out of breath. Even that I'm on the way out, so fingers crossed. One more set. For this last set, I'm gonna drop to 370, so that's 80 kilo drop. We go narrow stance. And there's more pump out, roll onto my ball of my foot a bit more, just to stretch out the quad a little bit more. Not quite as extensive or extreme as a sissy squat, but more than the regular mid-foot placement. Stretch out, pump, stretch out, pump. Nice little pause and stretch, like I said. Aim for like a 12-15. New load, let's do it. Final exercise of the quads portion. After this, we just got adductors left. So hit some adductors, hit around the trees, and get out of it and call it. We'll call it a successful session if we get a good set here. That'll be a deal. I said 12 to 15. New load, lost the rep, up 10 kilos. Oh, I'm battered, right. Adductors, flex, home time. Right, final exercise before we get the pump on. Gonna keep this short and sweet. I know there ain't no way see me do this exercise for too long, so what I do is I let my feet rest, keep all the pressure in the inner thigh around the knee. Feet just stay numb and just drive. Big squeeze here, open up, think about driving outwards instead of just coming back. Same as you would a pec fly, you don't just come back, you open out and open up your chest. Open up your adductors. Gonna pyramid up in weight, 4 sets of 12 to 15. Just spend a second here and a second here. Opening up and then driving in. If you're gonna put any bit of your foot down with pressure, just pressure through the heel. Don't try not to use your toes. That's when you're gonna get your calves involved. Right, I'll show you the top set and then we'll get out of here. Right. That you know, wrap up the workout. Hopefully you can hear me a bit better. The fan is going 110 miles an hour, so hopefully you hear this, otherwise I'm editing it here and cutting it out. Hit some mandatories. I've got 30 minutes, I've got 30 minutes on the treadmill there, and I'll catch you when we get back for a wrap up. Right, so on the screen you'll be seeing a couple of pump shots. A pump video actually. The pump was looking a lot better than it felt. The session, like you've seen, it wasn't the best that I ever did. Take these off because in this heat is suffocating me. It was a hot, humid session. We got it done. Bailed on obviously my 2 main lifts and compounds, but progressed on everything else. So it's one of those ones where you take what you get, and then we go again next week, reset the hat squat, reset the pendulum squat, drop a bit of load off and rebuild in to make it feel like I'm progressing into the final weeks of the prep. Of course, we're going to be 8 weeks out next time, 7 weeks out and so on. When we get to like the 5, 6, that's when like the last final big sessions go in, then become more conservative leading into the pump sessions in the last week to 10 days of the prep leading into show 1. So that is that. I'm just getting some steps to finish off the day. Obviously give my post-workout cardio, which was just on the treadmill incline, and that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit the notification bell so you don't miss me upload, do a few more workout tutorials before my training like nose dives, and I'll catch you in the next one.